Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of XLR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a live classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. XLR. We don't just train, we build careers.
So the collaboration with XLR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
A machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if XLR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
Course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with XLR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank XLR for being a part of it.
I was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later for my college, I get to know about XLR and I enrolled in XLR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory part, he is doing how real digital marketing works, and it was in total very good experience. I get so much of knowledge. Here they're not only focusing on study, they're also conducting different exams to test our knowledge, and as we are giving the exam, so to appreciate our work, they give certificates for the toppers, and along with the certificate they give hampers. Thank you, XLR.
Recently, I was searching for digital marketing courses online in Google, and I came across XLR and I attended a digital marketing course which was for 15 days. My mentor Mayur helped me for attending these classes. So he is a very informative and helpful guy. In the course end, there is a exam which I topped, so I came to the XLR office in Bengaluru. This digital marketing course has helped my career and my skills to develop, and the certificate has helped my company to join. Thank you, XLR.
I came to know about this course from my college. Actually, for learning platform, this is very nice, and I learned from here ChatGPT and AI from online. Vikas is teaching for me for AI generative and ChatGPT. We are using this technology in more. And after finishing the courses, I came for collecting the certificate. I seen the classrooms and faculties. Classroom is very nice. After the completion of exam, they will give gift and certificates. Thank you, XLR, for giving these courses. I learned a lot from this. I gained the more knowledge from here. And thank you for XLR for teaching us.
Hello guys, I'm Vikram Mahajan and I'm studying in Swami Vivekananda Institute of Technology College, and I came across a training program which was mobile app development using Flutter, which was given to us by XLR Solutions. I came across this program through my college faculty, who told us about this program, that it is a very good course and you should enroll in this course. So I enrolled in this course, and initially I felt really good about this course because they started everything from a very basic point of view, that even if someone who doesn't know anything about Flutter or anything about mobile app development can also learn the same way the ones who know about it are learning. So no student was left behind and everyone was given equal attention. All the doubts throughout the course were cleared. And if we had any questions also, we were like, the trainer was also ready to stay for a longer time than it was scheduled, even for the sake of doubts. So that shows how important the students are to them. So it was a really good experience with XLR's program, and by the end of the training program, I was able to develop my own application. And through the development also, there was another point. So our sir taught us about how we can connect our own mobile phone to our laptop and write code in our laptop, and you can see the output in your phone, which is really creative and interesting for me. I felt really good about that. So in the end, I developed my own mobile application. I showed it to my mother, I showed it to my friends. I felt really good about it. So I would really suggest XLR. I would recommend it to all my friends to take courses from here, as they focus on the children, focus on the students, and they focus on what's necessary, that is the students' doubts get.
Good afternoon, dear faculty members. I hope my voice is audible to everyone. I request please inform your colleagues or friends to join the session as soon as possible. Asham sir, good afternoon. Sir, is my voice audible? Ashok sir, your voice is not audible.
Are you able to hear me, ma'am? Now? Am I audible?
Yes, now it's okay. But it is too slow, sir. It is too low.
No, I was using my. Am I not? Hello? Are you able to hear me? Hello? Hello? Anyone from the team can respond me? Am I audible? Are you able to hear me loud and clear? Okay, I got an yes. Okay, fine. So once when the organizers let us know, we'll start.
Yeah, Ashok, so you can start. You're audible now.
Fine, just a minute.
Okay.
Let me share my screen, we'll start.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I have shared my whole screen. You can check that. Just a minute. Okay, so hope you should be able to see me on my screen also. Hope we can start now. Is everything fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good afternoon to everyone. So joined on this day 3 of day 5 for this Cybersecurity Foundation Faculty Development Program. So you can refresh like what we have gone through on day 1 and day 2. Networking devices, Linux commands, Windows commands on day 1 with basics. On day 2, we tried something on cybersecurity principles, typically CIA, AAA, pillars of information security. We saw what is a data breach. Then we discussed something about ports and protocols, introduction about packets, right? Then at the end of day 2, we just quickly walked on through the different types of security devices. Firewall, IDS, IPS, SIM. It can be a hardware, it can be a software, it can be an application. So that's what we have seen on the whole of day 2. You remember yesterday we discussed, we refreshed the topic that was pending, that Linux commands, basic Linux commands, how permission works in Linux, RWX 421, how we can set a permission for a file. Then we have discussed about three-way handshake, right? How Ashok and Lakshmi can just communicate over the network, how they can initiate a connection, three-way handshake with some examples. Then finally, we have gone through firewall, IDS, IPS, SIEM, that is Security Operations Center. Any company will have Security Operations Center, fine. So UTM, this is how we ended yesterday. The first 8 plus 8, 16 tasks. Someone have raised your hand. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat box and you can unmute and speak. Let me check in the chat box. Not any comments. Okay. Fine. So today's topic is the next 8 parts, cyber threat landscape. Cybersecurity, you see, like when we teach at the college or university, students they go for a hardcore cybersecurity job. What they will do day in and day out, it's going to be like two sides of a coin. Either they are going to do something offensive or defensive. Offensive in the sense, so-called hackers, they want to hack into the system and report to someone, right? Again, in college or university, even I don't do, like I don't recommend faculties to motivate or do something related to hacking, right? We need to just motivate them and do something related to information security. Like say like 10, 15 years before, there were huge demand for the XYZ hackers. But nowadays, there's a huge demand for security professionals. Anyone can use a tool and do a so-called XYZ hack, but there is a hard-coded effort that are put. There should be a knowledge, there should be some experience to defend the network, right? So we need to train students specifically for the defensive part of cybersecurity. Obviously, we'll teach them how to do an attack so that they can safeguard. That's different. But the agenda should be something training them on the defensive part. Then we'll just walk through to the threat map, right? The global cyber threat map. Yeah. Countermeasures and hygiene. Okay, we'll see what is an attack, how attack happens, then how to prevent the attack, right? So you cannot put a single tool so that, like, you remember, like way back 20 years before, we have an antivirus. If you put an antivirus, the computer is secure. That's not the scenario nowadays. We need to put different security mechanism for different attacks. So only we learn or know about what is an attack, how are the different types of attacks, how they are happening, Then we'll come back to countermeasures. In a single word, if you want me to say how to prevent attack, again, layman terms, we say we need to enhance security or put security. Technically speaking, or in cyber terminologies, security means it's all about locking and unlocking. Even more technical, it's all about cryptography and steganography. We don't use steganography more these days, right? We'll see that what this technique is. But cryptography, you keep this in mind. Cryptography is the art of locking, unlocking. Steganography is the art of hiding and unhiding, right? So the whole of the security relies on an algorithm. You lock in one side, you unlock in other side, right? So that is on cryptography. So today's topic will be from cyber threat landscape till cryptography and steganography. We'll walk through that. Before getting on to that, something was pending yesterday. Yeah, I remember we discussed on this, right? I was not able to log in into this website. FortiGate demo login, right? Let me copy this and put it in the chat box. Maybe for your understanding. Can also try that. We put it for everyone. Yeah. The username password is demo. Fine. Yeah. So I'm logging in again. This is an example or a demo. Okay, when I'm logging in, they hosted it online, cloud, just for us to understand, have a look and feel, right? So we know, right? Whenever we want to see something, we want to feel something, we need to touch and feel. We need to see and feel. Same way, just to give us a look and feel, this company, they have their one of their demo firewalls posted online. So we are logging into it. So obviously they will allow us only to log as read only. They don't want us to edit or change anything. Just like an exhibition, you can go, see and come. Fine. Okay. So let me make it full screen. Okay. So this is a dashboard, login screen or dashboard or thing of a FortiGate. Fortinet is the company. FortiGate is the model of the firewall, right? FortiGate virtual machine firewall. Again, what it is, we have a hardware-based firewall, like a device, we put it on the server room, right? Then you install a software. You can install it in your Windows server or Linux server or something. Nowadays, this software-hardware combination have migrated to a cloud. So the hardware or software might not be available in your premises. You pay for license. You are paying for a firewall for 6,000 users. You'll get a license. You only have a login and dashboard like this. Everything will be managed, maintained somewhere remotely on the cloud. Fine. Let me zoom in. Yeah. Okay. So interface, as we have seen yesterday, interface is the different types of connectivity. Fine. So you see 1, 3, 5. If we can remember this port numbers, port number 1, port number 3, just like yet another switch or router. This firewalls also will have a port. Firewall, you imagine like a wall that is built between the external world and the internal network. Internal network is your college network. External world is the World Wide Web. And an attacker wants to come from external network to your internal network, they need to cross the firewall. Imagine firewall like your traditional security people. Firewall will verify, allow something, deny something, block something. Everything will happen in the firewall level. Fine. So interfaces, you can see here interface 1, 3. Yeah, interface number just a minute. Okay. The interface 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8. So totally 9 interfaces are on. Maybe 9 different devices might be connected. Typically in firewall, right? For example, you have a firewall for your college. Your college has 4 buildings. Each building, there are 3 departments, 12 departments. By default, the firewall will be connected to the main switch or the main device of the each and every department or each and every network. So that the firewall can monitor what is going in, what is coming out within the internal network. Then the firewall will decide what to send outside the network, what to allow inside the network from the internet. So firewall acts something as a middleman between the internet, the World Wide Web, and the intranet. That is the network within our organization. Fine. So firewall policies, you remember yesterday we discussed firewall is all about policies. You want to allow or deny based upon some rule. Fine. So this firewall you see here, It's loading. Fortinet v7.6.3. There is a software version built 3510. See, there can be n number of policies, right? So it's loading. Yeah. You see, they have put a policy from port number 3 to 1. What is the policy? You see, when you just click, it will say what is the policy. Say internet 2 in the firewall number 2. The firewall policy is all, right? Disabled, all, disabled, always, all the days, all the months, it is disabled. What is the service? General, they don't want to allow anything into that. The firewall is accepted, it is allowed. It is a NAT. NAT is typically network address translation, converting from one external network to one internal network. There is another rule from port number 5 to 1. See, they have an intrusion prevention system. They have an antivirus solution that is mapped here. So this is on the top level. You write up a rule on from device to device. Rule can be written device to device, network to network. Rule can be written based upon ports, protocols, IP address. Even you can put a keyword. We don't allow any network data or packet with a keyword called hacker. It will work fine. Security ratings, we'll see what is there in the security ratings. You see here currently 18 results have been there, right? Uncategorized, audited log, data protection. You see what all the system uptime, unsecure protocol identified in one system. Two-factor authentication is not done in one system. There's an SNMP pooling that is passed. NTP, you remember yesterday we discussed the fancy number, port number 123, fine. So this is how the firewall dashboard will look like. So there will be something called dashboard at the end. When you click onto the dashboard, it will show you the whole thing. How many users are connected to my college Wi-Fi now? Fine, it will give you a statistics. Currently, you see only 2 devices are connected. They are offline. Fine. Users, the total number of users. This firewall is yet another software or application. There will be an admin user for this. There will be a manager user for this. There will be an end user or client user for this. Router monitoring, network. You see here what all the networks available. If it is having hundreds and thousands of devices, all beautiful graphs will be loaded here. How much data rate, what it went and on. Fine. Let's check what all the live sessions available. Which device? If there are 100 devices connected, we'll say, hey, in computer lab 1, there are 30 devices. Currently, 18 devices are on and connected on the network. There's an accounts department. There are 5 devices. Now, currently, all the 5 devices are connected. That will be displayed here. As this is the demo one, they have not populated any devices here. Fine, you see here, the data which is going from source. IP number 101 from 10. The MAC address is there. What was the data that went? How many bytes of data? What is the session ID? Right? Fine. See, there's an IP 172.30.72.100. They have some malicious traffic. You see the red color, session blocked. 43,000 requests from that website to the network has been blocked by the firewall. That's what it's listing in the red color, right? So this is how the logs, live logs will look like. Then inventory monitor, hey, your college has 1,000 systems. How many Windows, how many Linux, how many embedded devices, how many printers, how many CCTV cameras. Each one device we call as an endpoint, end device, right? See, it's listing. There's a Windows computer available, fine. If you want to see more details about that, you can check onto the interface and check. There's another device, the MAC address is listed. There's a couple of other devices connected. Totally 5 devices are connected in this demo system, fine. Let's check on to destination threats, right? Threat means you call a hacker as a threat. Someone from external is doing an attack, or someone sitting inside your company also may do an attack. Anyone who want to attack your data or infrastructure will be called as threat, right? You see the threats, they have categorized one threat, there's a failed connection because of this. They'll have a threat score, they'll just say why the threat came in, all details. Top system events, it will show what all the events. Yesterday we remember we discussed about how many people logged, how many people logged out, how many times they gave the password wrongly, how much is the session duration. Everything should be available here. And you see many numbers. You see here routing monitor, IPsec monitor, firewall user monitor, client monitor. APs monitor, access point. If you have a Wi-Fi configured, how many of them have connected to your college Wi-Fi, whether they are allowed or not. You see, like in college, I remember we used to set something like a username and password for faculty, a username and password for students. Faculty will have more privilege, student will have less privilege when they connect to Wi-Fi, right? So that can be monitored here. You see, failed authentication, as I said, from this IP for this protocol, maybe HTTPS connection, there was 26 failed attempt. When you check view session, it will clearly say how many times the user have given the passwords wrongly. When you scroll down, the complete data will be there. It's a demo, so they have not populated the connected the DB for this. Let's see. So the network, the whole of the network will show only one device is connected now, demo device. So if it is a big network, you'll see a beautiful network diagram. And the network protocols, OSPF, BGP, routing protocols used for route the data from the sender to receiver. You can see what are the policies: denial of service policy, proxy policy, authentication policies. You can write a policy, you can add or remove a policy. Fine. Then traffic shaping, virtual servers, health check, generally checking the health of all devices connected here. Then VPN, virtual private network. You remember Day1 we discussed something about VPN. Or else we might have seen somewhere in bits and pieces about VPN, virtual private network. Between the sender and the receiver, there's a private network, it's virtual. Obviously, it will be enabled with XYZ crypto algorithms, right? The data is secure between the sender and the receiver. And many more. Fine, Wi-Fi controller, complete about things. So this is a complete dashboard about how a firewall looks like. Fine. You see here the policy, IP lookup, packet capture, monitoring what you want to monitor. So that's what when you hire someone, for example, when a company wants to hire your student for some cybersecurity positions, they will hire not only for cybersecurity, they will hire for network security, firewall admin, SOC admin, right? So your student should know what is this FortiGate firewall. They should be able to configure the firewall. They should be able to connect all devices. They should be able to regularly monitor this in the dashboard. Simple. Fine. Okay. So let me come out of this. We'll go back to the actual part for today. Okay. So cyber threat landscape. What is a landscape? You know, like we call it as an environment, right? We live in a forest ecosystem. The upward is ecosystem. We live in a forest ecosystem. We live in a desert ecosystem. Within a sea ecosystem, right? Threat landscape is, again, obviously the whole of the world comes under the World Wide Web, right? Cyber threat landscape, there is every device is connected on the internet. Everything is available on the internet. What is a threat? Threat, you remember we discussed threat is typically an attacker or a hacker or a virus, right? So threat landscape will clearly give you a bird's eye view. You know, right? A eagle flies, it will have the bird's eye view. This threat landscape, you use it as a tool or a technique or an application. It will give you a bird's eye view. That's what the firewall is giving. It is showing you what all the device connected, what attacks happening, right? And what all the remedies taken, fine? So to get on to this, we need to get to know these two keywords, the important keywords: vulnerability and exploit, fine? So whenever, again, the most common interview question is, what is a vulnerability? In any cyber system, what is a vulnerability? I'll just start with the dictionary definition. Vulnerability is the weakness in any system. Weakness in a system is called vulnerability. Simple. So then what is a cyber vulnerability or vulnerability in computers? The vulnerability can be a weakness in your hardware, chip, board, CCTVs, printers. The vulnerabilities can be in your software, MS Office, MATLAB, any other applications. The vulnerability can be in your firmware. You see some devices have a middleman firmware. Again, vulnerabilities can be in your operating system. Operating system is yet another software, extended version, right? So vulnerabilities can be in hardware, software, application, or anything, right? So that is vulnerability, weakness, right? Then we'll go for exploit. Exploit means attacker finds a vulnerability, they exploit something. Someone finds a wall in your college somewhere weak, they come, they break it, and they enter into that. That is an exploit. Exploit, you can imagine a bomb. Someone finds a vulnerability, they put a bomb, they break it, and they go inside. So that is called vulnerability, exploit, and threat, right? See, there will be definitions available. Vulnerability is a weakness in a system. Exploit is a attacker, typically a threat that can attack your vulnerability. We'll have some detailed things. Yeah. So this should do good. Fine. Let's check. Yeah. So let's take a couple of use cases. Vulnerability, threat, risk. What is the risk? You know, right? Riding a bike without a helmet is a risk. Fine. There will be consequences of risk, right? Same way here, risk is an attack. You imagine a cyber attack. Your password is leaked, that is a risk. Your question paper is leaked, that is a risk, right? So for a risk to happen, you see the formula. For a risk to happen, what are the ingredients? There should be a vulnerability, and there should be a threat acting over them. So vulnerability plus threat results in a risk. Fine. So you see the definition, weakness in the system is vulnerability. A cyber incident. Incident here we call it as a attack. Attack or compromise or fancy words, hack, right? A cyber attack or cyber hack is called because of a threat, right? And the chain, when you talk about a chain, there is a vulnerability, that's a threat actor, attacker. When vulnerability and threat is combined, the attack happens. That's a risk, you lose something, fine? You see the example, company has no ransomware protection for Google Workspace. We have seen this in many colleges recently, fine? So a college working, they have just hosted their mail server in Google or Amazon, or they have their own hosting space. So one of the faculty or employee clicks onto the link. The link is the fancy virus called ransomware, right? The ransomware is a virus. When you click, it will just come into your system. It will know how many documents, how many audio, how many video you have. It will lock all the files. It is going to lock all the files, put a single lock, and ask for money. You know, right? Flight hijacking. Someone hijacked the flight and they ask for money, right? You know, kid hijacking. Older days, thieves used to hijack kids from house and then they ask for money. Ransomware is typically a digital hijacking in which the attacker will get your data. They're not going to take your data and put it in a remote server. In your laptop, data will be locked, but the lock will have only one key. The lock will have only one key. The key will be with the attacker. Let's imagine your kid is in your house. They are safe, but they are locked inside the room. You are not able to get them out. You can hear their sound, you can see them, but you are not able to take them out. You need to pay to them, get the key, unlock, and bring the kid outside. Instead of kid, here is your data. When the ransomware infects your system, it comes to your system. It will scan all your useful files, audio, video, documents, everything, and lock all the files with a single algorithm. Fine. Who sends? A cyber criminal sends an email to the company. The employee clicks without knowing that. Once when it is clicked, within 5 or 10 minutes, the attack is done. Right? All data on the company workspace are encrypted and locked. There is a single key that can unlock. Only you need to go pay to the attacker and get back that. So when we are discussing on this, I'll give you an example of low-key ransomware. The most common ransomware, maybe the superstars of ransomware that's available. Low-key, BitLocker. I'll type BitLocker, the traditional ransomware. Yeah, you see here, a note will be here like this. Let me open that. Cool, that's not clear. Okay, this note will be something like this. Once when your system is locked, you will see a note like this. Hey, welcome. I am the virus. I have locked your computer files. You need to go online, pay to my master, and get the single key to unlock. They won't ask you to pay in UPI or GPay. Right? They are doing some offense, right? They ask you to pay in something called Bitcoins, right? Virtual currency, cryptocurrency. You see, recently we heard in India, Bitcoin price is somewhere around 1 crore or something, right? 99 lakhs, 21,000, right? So they'll ask you to pay in Bitcoins. They'll give a Bitcoin wallet, you need to pay in Bitcoin, right? So how they are locking? See, they will be locking this using, let's check this, BitLocker ransomware uses which encryption, right? These ransomwares are way to do. They are available over a decade, right? They'll be using new upgraded versions of encryption algorithm. They are using AES. Let us assume we'll see the crypto algorithm shortly today itself. But you keep in mind AES is a crypto algorithm used by BitLocker ransomware to do an attack. Let me open AES. I'll put a in how or else time taken to break this AES. I'll give some numbers also. AES will have 128 bit, the least bit I'm giving. Fine. You'll see some fancy years, fancy results in the number of years. You see how many years it will take. If you are running a server to break the password, for example, ATM will have a password from 0000 to 9999. It will have the whole password, right? If you want to try all passwords and break the algorithm, fine, or break the law, how much time it will take? Trillions of years, right? Let us see what is a trillion year, or a trillion year in number. What does trillion means? Trillion is, you see here, 10 to the power 12. These many years. You know, 1 year is 365 days. Fine. So if someone wants to crack the algorithm that was set by this ransomware, right? They need to use a password cracking tool or server or thing. These many years continuously to break the algorithm. Practically speaking, that is not possible. And I throw you a disclaimer. Current day we are discussing about quantum cryptography. Right? Quantum crypto includes this quantum attack and other things. This is the current research topics. Using quantum, the trillion years can be reduced to very less numbers, right? So if we don't use a quantum crypto stuff, right? Use a traditional server to crack the algorithm. For you to crack a AES, it will take how many? 1 trillion, some trillions of years. So at the end of the day, what you need to do? You need to go pay to the ransomware unit and get the key back so that you can unlock your data. I remember maybe 5-7 years ago, there was a faculty who had her PhD thesis defense. The day before her thesis defense, her system was locked. She clicked onto that link, somewhere came on the mail. Morning when she wants to present, all her PPTs in the desktop was locked. There's a file name called ppt dot some rename is there. She was not able to open the file. I remember she paid somewhere around $200 and unlocked and got the ransomware key and unlock all of the data. Right? So that we are talking about vulnerability, weakness in a system, threat is an external actor. The result is a risk. Some attack might happen. Fine. All these things, when we talk about risk, you see, we'll see some advanced topics in risk, maybe the last day, right? So what exactly is a risk? You have a risk. You accept the risk, right? For someone says, hey, you are driving without a helmet. You say, hey, I know the risk. I accept the risk. You avoid the risk. How to avoid? You use a helmet so that you avoid the risk. You transfer the risk. Without you driving, you ask someone to drive, or you put the helmet and you ask them to do. You mitigate the risk. Both of them driving will use the helmet so that they are not affected, right? So a risk can be a cyber attack. It's a combination of a threat and a vulnerability. Either you need to accept the risk, you need to avoid the risk, you need to transfer the risk, or you need to mitigate the risk, right? So these are the all possible combinations of dealing a risk, right? So companies might hire maybe cybersecurity students or computer science students, a specific role called risk management in cybersecurity, where they need to know network security, they need to know threat, they need to know vulnerability, they need to know risk. There are some formulas for this. They need to know how to calculate the risk. They're not going to do this one time. Day in and day out, they're going to do the same thing. Fine. Okay. So when we talk about threat actor, the attacker, it can be a virus that can do an attack. It can also be a individual, so-called hacker, right? You see here malware, ransomware. We discussed about ransomware now. And I'll show you some real cases of ransomware, right? I'm randomly typing off some news. I heard it. You see, this was the 10 years old news. Fine. 2015. Those days, Hackers News page. Okay, you see here, 10 years ago, there was a ransomware group attacked some country's police department, right? Chicago Police Department. Illinois is a city, right? And they have paid a ransom of 600 bitcoins, right? 600 bitcoins to unlock the data. What is the data? It's the data of the police department in one US state, right? You see, they know how this crypto algorithms are used. You see, just a minute. Let's check. They have paid $600 in Bitcoin, right? $600 in Bitcoin. Nowadays, the rate may be something different. $0.000, right? Bitcoin in 2015. Let us check. Bitcoin rate in 2050. Just here. See the Bitcoin rates, it will show the different rates. In 2050, what was the rate? $1 will be some rate of Bitcoins, right? So they might have paid $600. Roughly in Indian money, they might have paid like 1 lakh, 2 lakh, or even greater to get their data back. You see why I am showing this news? A police department is attacked by ransomware. Even they are not able to do something and get the data back. They are paying and getting the ransom back. Fine. So that's the severity of this type of virus called ransomware. Malware, again, anyone teaching a cyber course, right? We might have teaching something about virus and a worm. Different 2 mark, maybe differentiate between virus and a worm. A virus is a application. Malware is a malicious program that need a host. You know, coronavirus, it comes into someone, right? What is a worm? Worm is self-replicating, right? So in 2000, there are 2 categories of bad programs. One is virus and another one is a worm. But in 2025, we have malware. You go to supermarket, you get everything. Same way, malware is a family of bad programs. Malicious software, that is called malware. Virus, worm, Trojan, ransomware, rootkits, 0 days, exploits, everything comes into place, right? So we'll see, you know, virus, right? Virus is an application infected. When you click, it will get infected, right? We have seen what is a ransomware. I'll give you one example of this virus category. Trojan horse virus, right? Trojan horse virus. It's a virus. The name has a meaning because you see a horse, wooden horse. In older days, Greek and Latin, one country, a king of one country presented this horse to another country king. Fine. That's what is called Trojan horse. Not a small horse. It is 10 feet, 20 feet. Their building height horse. The other country king got it. They kept it in the fancy, like you see, keep it in showcase. They kept it in center of the city. But inside that horse, the opponent country soldiers are hiding. They found the right time. They come out of the horse. They invaded the country and they won. So Trojan horse can be anything. You download a calculator, you download a cracker software, you download movies online, right? Pirated stuff. Everything can come with the Trojan horse. The outside application might look legitimate. Inside that, another virus should be there. Trojan horse is as such not a virus. It's a carrier, carries any other virus, right? So that's Trojan horse. And you see here, SQL injection, DDoS, social engineering. This is interesting. Social engineering, you see at the bottom, fine. You see, no network is 100% secure. Why? Because humans are the weakest link in any network, fine. So if the attacker is not able to find a vulnerability in hardware, software, application, the attacker will find the vulnerability in humans. That technique is called social engineering. I hope someone have raised your hand. You have any questions, query, chat box? Let me check. Someone is asking to unmute. I hope the team can check. Dr. Mohammed Shahid is asking for an unmute. If there is a permission, you can unmute. Or else he can type the question in the chat box. Fine. Let me continue. Yeah. Social engineering is an attack in which the attackers exploit the weakness in an individual. For example, someone calls to you, say that nowadays cyber attacks are happening like that. Someone will send a message from your principal photo saying that, hey, your principal might be actually on a vacation. He might have gone to Singapore. They'll send a message saying that, hey, I'm in Singapore, I got struck, my purse is lost, something happened to me. I want you to send me money to this account. Send me 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. Why your principal is going to ask money to you? But the mail will be sent or message will be sent to 100 faculties in your college. without knowing that if you send money, you are being a victimized of phishing attack. Extended version is called social engineering. Fine. And there is another category called zero day attack. You have an antivirus, you have a firewall, you have an IDS, any security solution. This is the advanced version of virus that can bypass everything. And that's what is called zero day. Today, we are finding a virus. Indian government is finding a virus sent by, let's say, Pakistan hackers. They will name it as a zero day. Fine. I'll give you an example of a zero day. Zero day is tied up with something called APT. Let me type APT 36, Pakistan, India, postal. This is one of the virus. Let me check on to AA mode. What it is saying all about APT postal virus. Yeah, you see, 3-4 months before we were working on this, our team was working on this attack, how it happened and other things. In March 2025, a Pakistani linked hackers group, APT 36. They don't know the virus, right? The name is Advanced Persistent Threat, APT 36, right? That started mimicking Indian postal website and sending message to all people having account in post office, saying that, hey, welcome to Indian government new post office application. Welcome to Indian government post office website. Someone clicked and they gave the money because they might have a computer with antivirus, mobile with security, but this is an advanced form of virus, right? It's called APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. They come in the similar category of zero day. Fine. Let us check on to the images. What happened with this APT? That was set by a group called Transparent Tribe Hackers Group. It was claimed that the hackers group belonged to Pakistan. Fine, let me open this. Yeah, they have just some security team have done some research and they have claimed. See the left side, the original postal website is hosted on this website. Right side, the fake postal website is posted on this website that was registered in the other country. Fine. So that is zero day. So attack, why we came into this topic, we are discussing about threat and vulnerability. Vulnerability is a weakness, threat is an attack, risk happens. So threat, different types of malwares and virus. That's how we jumped on to this malwares and virus, right? So types of cyber attack, different types of malwares and virus. Have I been found? URL void, have I been found? Yesterday, you remember we discussed website where you can check whether your mail ID is there in the compromised list, right? That's a website called URL void. URL checker. For example, you are getting a URL today. Hey, that's a price available, or so there's an offer available for crackers online. You just pay 2,000 rupees and get crackers for 20,000 rupees. They might send you a fancy website. You can check that URL. For example, I'll type www.example.com. Example.com and check it. I'm just taking a random website, right? So it says 0 out of 41. Detection count 0 out of 41 security devices are found. This is a genuine website. If you have got a link, right, you can clearly put it here. It will say whether the link is a virus or not, right? Or the link is genuine or a malicious one. Fine. So today we have seen from the starting, we have discussed about vulnerability, threats, risks, right? We'll see attack vectors. You know vector? If anyone is good at math here, right? Vector, you know, right, magnitude and vector. Vector will have a direction, right? So from which direction something is happening, or else from where the attack is happening, right? That is called attack vectors. Let us see the attack vector here. You see here? You have a computer, you have a server. There are weaknesses in your computer. I'll give you a real world example, typically for colleges and universities, right? So you might be having a network. You have a software which you got licensed 10 years ago. That software will work only in Windows 7 or Windows XP, older Windows computer. Your IT team will ask you to update the OS. You will say, hey, the licensed software is there. You don't want to update the OS. Because like every OS, every software, every hardware will have a vulnerability. When you pay and get it, the owner of the OS, Microsoft or Apple or whomever is giving, they will regularly release the update. Update will have only patches. What was the weakness? What was the vulnerability? What was the patch, right? You see here, you remember the news, Microsoft support for Windows 10. I hope most of the colleges might be using Windows 10, right? Yesterday was the date. If I'm not wrong, let's check. Yeah, this is the date. You check it, check this page. Maybe, yeah, 14th October 2025. That was yesterday. Till yesterday, Microsoft was giving support to all Windows 10 devices. Every week they'll give new updates. Because they released this in 2015, most successful Windows version after Windows XP. It's used for more than 10 years. Now Microsoft have stopped the support from yesterday. From today, there won't be any support. Even a big problem is there, they'll give the patch or something, but they won't give a regular support. Microsoft wants you to go to Windows 11. If your college is regularly following a security audit or something, your IT team will clearly say, hey, we need to remove all the Windows 10 computers and put Windows 11. If you've already paid for Windows 10 license with some extended versions, you can upgrade your OS from Windows 10 to Windows 11, right? That should happen. So a weakness in a system, what are the attack vectors? Social engineering, someone calling to your office and say, hey, I am the PA for your principal, give me this username or password. Malware, website based, network based, physical attack, password based attack. The attacker will know a weakness in your system and do attack. You know, right? You have your friends, you have your family members, you know how to befriend your friend, or else you know how to say something to your kid. You give a chocolate to them, they behave something different. You know their weakness. Same way, the attacker wants to like do an attack on your college. They'll find what is your college public AP. They will scan your outside systems. If they were able to get into your network, they will scan what all the systems inside. They will scan what is your IP, what all the MAC address available, what all the ports and protocols available, what all the operating system which you are using, which version of software you are using, everything they'll do. Then they will put an attack, right? When you, again, even when I teach some courses on hacking or ethical hacking, some courses available in the market comes in this name, right? So they will teach something called, before doing the attack, you want to do a footprinting. We call it as a reconnaissance, gathering basic details about the victim, fine? Then do an attack. Use case, fish tank, right? That's a website called fish tank, not FISH. This is PHISH. You are able to find a malicious website URL. You are getting a link saying that, hey, I am your principal, do something. You can copy that URL and put it here. For example, I'm copying a URL from here and putting it here. Is it a fish? When I ask, it will verify. Again, it's checking whether I'm a human. I need to put a tick mark for the CAPTCHA. Yeah, I'm a human, verified. No screenshots it. Is it the frame? See, it's saying that this website is vulnerable. You see, the first link is available. When you click onto the details, ID number, this number, someone have reported the website is vulnerable. If you want to get more details, obviously you need to create an account in this website and log in. Fine. So this is fish tank where you can go and check whether the link you are getting, your God, is a genuine or not. After clicking the link, if you are trying this, no use. Already you are infected, right? So before something happened, you can check it on websites like this. Phishing quiz Google. This is an interesting quiz. Phishing quiz by Google. Can participate it. They'll ask you some 10 questions, right? We're not going to try it now. If you are doing it step by step, it will eat up maybe like 20-30 minutes of that. But I'll share you the document. You'll get it in the document. So you can just go. You need to log in, take a quiz. It will just ask for a username and password. You give it and start it. It will give you 6 phishing pages, right? For example, Google phishing quiz. I'm not going to log in now. I'll show you how it looks like. Google phishing quiz. Yeah. Yeah. So they'll give you some 10 mails or 10 websites link. How it looks like. I want to save this. Sorry. See here on the website, fax message received from admin. Click on that link. You need to read that and say whether it's a good link or bad link. they'll give you a test of 10 out of 10, right? So based upon your results, you can conclude what is your ranking, what is your security portion, right? You get 7, 8, 9 out of 10, well and good. You get 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, you need to repeat it, right? That is on this. Scam advisor, you can check it. So before I go on to the next topic, I want to summarize the whole thing which we have seen. We have seen a vulnerability, weakness in a computer, hardware, software, or network. We have seen a threat, hackers, malwares, virus. We have seen the risk. The another thing important here is asset, ASSET. We have not discussed on this. Asset is your property. Your computer is your property, your data is your property, your laptop printer is your property. The attacker wants to do an attack, right? They need to do attack on something. So your asset, you have an asset. The asset has a vulnerability. The vulnerability is exploited by the threat actor. The merge of all these things, the intersection of all these things is the risk, right? So again, when we go for interview, right, we want a candidate who's applying for cybersecurity has to have a clear-cut idea about this. Define each and every term with an example and differentiate between threat and vulnerability, risk and threat. They should be crystal clear on this, right? Because the whole of the day in and day out cyber job is going to be revolving in and around vulnerability, threats, risk, and on. Right? Global threat map. I hope yesterday we have seen the same threat maps, 2 or 3 cyber threat maps, right? Global threat maps on Kaspersky digital attack map. Fine. Let me open again. Kaspersky global threat map. Live map. Okay, let's check. Okay, app is getting populated. Fine. Let us check on to data source. See from what all the sources they are collecting the data. Let's check on to the statistics. Detection per second. How many attacks are happening per second? That will be listed here. Fine. I have disabled the cookies, so it might not display here. We'll see onto the map. Yeah, the same thing which you have seen yesterday. See, so this might be a live map. You see from India, what all the different types of attacks, how it is identified, right? From which source, which destinations, what attack are happening. The map might look fancy, exaggerated, right? But actually, that is from the statistics. It is not a demo map or dummy map, right? So this is extracted. The map is put. The statistics are created based upon the current attacks happening in real world. Right? Okay, we have seen a cyber attack, threat, vulnerabilities, attacks. Everything is clear, right? Again, so before getting on to the countermeasures of cyber attacks, let me show you some. Again, when we teach at the university, we teach students clearly about define a virus 2 mark, define a worm 2 mark, differentiate between virus and a worm, define a ransomware. Everything is good, right? In real world, the interviewer's questions will be, hey, let me know what's a ransomware. So ransomware is a program, uses cryptography to lock your data and ask for a ransom money. You need to pay them in bitcoins. Definition is okay. Give me an example of ransomware. The student is not able to say an example of the ransomware. We believe the whole of the definition which you have said is only a book bag. You have just written it for clearing 2 marks, 4 marks in exam, right? So you talk about any virus, malware, ransomware, you need to have at least one example each, right? For example, example of a virus, right? I have something in mind, right? For your understanding, I'm searching it, right? Example of a virus. Let's talk about a computer virus, not a biovirus. Okay. Viruses are having different categories, right? Let's say example of models. I'll type this way. Superstar will be the most. Again, there's a game. It's going to the game, right? You see this? Just to check the famous viruses, right? On a new tab. At least this. I hope we'll have this in our what to say book examples. 2000, there was a virus called I love you.txt. What is the virus name? Let me type it in the notepad. In 2000, there was a traditional virus called as I love you dot txt is the actual file name, but the virus will have an extension called .vbs. I love you dot txt dot vbs. So that it typically looks like a text file, but actually it's a VB script. Those who maybe the faculty those who are teaching for over a decade, you know. Now we teach Python, Perl, something. Previously we had C, Java. Previously we had Microsoft .NET and on, right? VB script is one technique, right? Visual basics, right? So iloveyou.txt.vbs is a virus. It's not going to do anything harm. It's going to circulate. For example, it will have a mail. Hey, welcome with virus. Something will be there. The same mail, if you click, the mail will be forwarded to you. You belong to college. It will be forwarded to all the 200 mail IDs of your contacts, right? Contacts in email. Fine. Yeah. So when someone says a virus, at least you should be able to say, hey, this I love you .vbs is a virus. Code Red, SQL Slammer, Stuxnet. Stuxnet is the extended version of the virus, right? Again, Stuxnet is the one virus, right? Comes in the category of virus, Stuxnet, but it was a mixed hybrid. It was a Trojan, it was a dropper. You see, like, what is Stuxnet? Stuxnet is the first proof of concept malware, which is sent from one country over another country. One country want to do an attack on another country. So they created a specific virus, malware in this name. They sent it to the other country. They didn't send it to their postal system or they didn't send it to the transport system. They sent that virus to the nuclear power plant of the other country. You see here, Stuxnet, sender, receiver. And there are some claims which country sent, which country does not send. We don't want to get into the politics, right? So Stuxnet is a malware, fine. You see here. It was created by, officially it was believed to be created by US and it was sent to Israel nuclear power plant. Sorry. Let me zoom in. Okay. So it was believed to be created, a combination created by US and Israel, front nations. It was sent, the victim was nuclear power plant of Iran, right? You know, Iran and Israel opponents, right? So it was sent to the Iran's nuclear power plant, right? So let's check like result of Stuxnet. What happened after this Stuxnet virus was infected? I'm using the AI mode of the Gemini that's available here. Fine. It delayed the enrichment. The nuclear power plant was running. It just reduced the speed or increased the speed of centrifuges of the nuclear power plant, right? And typically it just caused the damage to the nuclear power plant, right? So that is called Stuxnet. That was one of the first malware came into that. Viruses can be put on hardware also, right? Because Stuxnet was infecting the uranium nuclear power plant. You call it as IoT nowadays. The extended versions are SCADA or ICS, right? So that was on this Stuxnet. Then Trojan, rootkit, generic. See, when someone says ransomware, at least they need to know. I'll give you a version. Karma ransomware. It was believed to be Indian version of ransomware. Karma is a ransomware. I just asked a question in in an interview to a student. Hey, what does karma means? If he may give a traditional authentic definition of karma with respect to his religious beliefs, right? Can you let me know what is karma ransomware? Student should initially know what is a ransomware. Then he need to know karma is a type of ransomware or the name of a ransomware. Then he should answer. If he's able to do this, the interviewer will be convinced. Hey, okay, I believe that the student knows about virus and ransomware. Fine. So now let's jump on to the countermeasures, right? We have seen attack, right? How to prevent the attack? We are training students to, as I said, not completely on the offensive stuff, attacker stuff. We are training them on the defensive side. We need to train them to defend the network. How to secure? Strong authentication, a strong password, regular software update. I said, right, Windows 10 stopped their support, right? So then you need to go to the next version, or else you need to have support for the older version, right? Phishing awareness, instead of sbi.com, someone may send you a link called sbl.com, right? Regular data backup. The ransomware have attacked, you already have a data backup. What you can do, you format the system and put the data back, right? There is no data backup, only the system is having one data, no use. You need to pay them and get the money back, the data back, fine. Reputable software, security softwares, having an antivirus, IDS, IPS, firewall, secure browsers, using a browser with some security, privacy enabled, device security, physical security on things, devices, identity monitoring. You remember this identity monitoring clubs with AAA principles. What is AAA? We can remember yesterday's session. Authentication, authorization, accounting, right? We remember we have seen the password generator and other things. Okay, security means password. Any layman term will say, what is security? Putting a password, right? So then we'll see how to keep a strong password, right? Okay, fine. So again, password is one form of authentication, right? You see when we type here, authentication, who, what, why. When you click it, check onto images. Fine. I want to see this image. Just a minute. Yeah. So I want you to explain with this image. Fine. You see here, knowledge factor, and you have something called as possession factor and inerted factor, right? Knowledge factor, these are all different types of authentication. If you want to verify, if you want to keep your data secure, when we go back, you want to ensure confidentiality, integrity, availability, you need to lock the data. You need to put some security. For putting some security, you need to enable authentication. Authentication is putting a lock. One of the most common lock we put is a password, right? So the knowledge factor is something you know. You know your password, fine? You know your security question. You forget the email, you give a security question. You know the pin for your phone, 1, 2, 3, 4, other things, right? That is knowledge, what you know in terms of authentication. The second thing is possession, what you have in hand. I have my smartphone. You know, right, nowadays when you log into Gmail will ask, you log in from a new device, hey, I have sent a code to your mobile, click on number 17. What it is doing, you have given the right password, it is enabling, it is asking you to verify whether you are the owner. It is using another factor. If you are using more than one factor of this, that is called as two-factor authentication, or else multi-factor authentication. You use the password and smartphone. You use the PIN and the biometric, right? So third one is inerted factors. I know something, I have something here, but something is within me. That is called inerted factor, right? My fingerprint, my retina scans, my voice, everything comes as inerted factor. So broadly, authentication can be done using any of these three family. One is what you know, second is what you have in hand, third is whom you are, what is inside your body or something, right? Password, security question, PIN, smartphone, smart cards, and hardware token based authentication. Fingerprint, retina, facial, voice recognition comes under the third factor, right? So these are all the factors of authentication. Password is one most common authentication mechanism, right? So then how to keep a strong password? When we talk about a strong password, I remember many places where we go for security audit, especially in colleges, right? So they might have written a password and saved it in their email draft. They might have written the password and put it in sticky notes, paper sticky notes, or else computer sticky notes, right? In the desktop, right? No use in having a password, right? Passwords are something you need to remember, fine? For example, when we went to an audit for a college, right? The government have sent a notice to the college. We were called in to do an audit so that the college has to say to the government saying that, hey, my college is secure, or else the government will put some fine, right? The college had some many departments. The password set by the admin we did the audit in 2022, right? The system admin gave the password to HOD, you know, right? How top level management will have the password to HOD in 2019, right? 3 years ago. What was the password? CSC at 123. ECE at 123. Fine. Something like that. So the actual password was, I don't want to mention the college name, right? I will mention the college name as XYZ. XYZ CSC at, they have given it as, I exactly say it, they have given it as 2019. Then what might be the ECE password? XYZ ECE at 2019. You see, by just by knowing one or two passwords, if I am an attacker, I'll be able to guess, right? XYZ MEC at 2019. If not, XYZ MECH at 2019. You see here, easy guessable passwords, right? Password should not be something like this. And when you teach students how to set a password, so-called strong password should have 8 character. That is in 2020. Now in 2025, you need to have a minimum of 12 character. Fine. It should have a caps. It should have a small. It should have a number. It should have a special character. And having all these things, you should not write it and keep it in a notepad or a sticky notes. Let me say I am Ashok Kumar Mohan. I am setting this as my password. Fine. It have passed the first criteria, minimum 12 character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm secure. Fine. But you need to have a caps. Let's say, let me put Ashok as caps. Bit secure. Kumar Mohan is small. Okay. I want to put a number. Let me say I see a 0 here. I replace this 0 with O. Sorry, I replace this O with 0. Fine. Fine. So I have an A here. Replace it with at. For additional security, I put a dollar and I say my year of birth. Fine. I should not put this year of birth. Someone can guess it. I'll put my fancy number. I like this number. Fine. This is a strong password. You know, right? First name is capital. All other things are small. In that small, I've replaced O with 0. And I have put at the replace A with that. Even if you don't want this, right? You don't want to make it more complex. Let this be the password. Fine. Something like that should be set, right? And I should not reuse this password. Fine. Yeah, this is passwords. Fine. Okay, let's come back. Authentication, you see, we have discussed authentication is verifying mechanism. You want to get in, you need to give a key. You need to put a biometric. You need to type something, right? Password, OTP, multi-factor, token-based, biometric, different types of authentication. Password-based, biometric-based, single sign-on, one-time password, OTP, you know, right? That is called OTP. Every day for your messages, you're getting an OTP, right? You want to send 1,000 rupees to so and so. Your Canara Bank OTP is 123456, right? OTP is yet another authentication mechanism, right? Multi-factor token-based authentication. You see Google Authenticator. How many of us are using Google Authenticator? I use it, right? Google Authenticator is a Play Store app that's available from Google, which is free of cost. I use it for all my mail IDs, irrespective it's my personal mail ID or company mail ID. If this is enabled, any person from a new location is logging in, it will ask the authenticator from my mobile app. The token will be randomly generated. It's a time-based OTP. The token will be generated every 10 seconds or 20 seconds. You see a timer will be running. So I recommend everyone for normal account, sensitive account, just use an authenticator. Google Authenticator is there, Microsoft Authenticator is there, some third-party authenticator is there. Zogo has their authenticators, right? Each and everyone has their authenticator app completely free of cost. You don't want to pay for any of the authenticators, right? It's available in the Play Store. You can take it and use it. All these things, when we teach at the college or university, we teach students this authentication is backended by an algorithm called OAuth, Open Authentication Algorithm. Again, when someone goes for an interview, we'll ask what is open authentication. If you teach it in a course on cryptography or something, that should be made clear how OAuth works and how it. Okay, now let's come to cryptographic basics, right? Symmetric, asymmetric. Those who are brand new to cryptography, I'll say cryptography is a mechanism of securing data, right? Cryptography means encryption, decryption, locking at one end, unlocking at the other end. Obviously, locking and unlocking needs a key. You have a key, fine. And cryptography is of two types: symmetric, asymmetric. Symmetric means I lock the data with key number 7. I'll send you the same key number 7. both the sender and the receiver will use the same key, right? For your understanding, I am saying the key number, right? Key value is 007. Let me give a fancy number. But in real world, the key values, just like we saw the sequence number in the Wireshark acknowledgement number, the key values will be pretty lengthy like this, fine? And again, those who are from a mathematical background, math is the foundation for whole of the crypto. It uses prime numbers, fine? You know, like 7 into 3, sorry, I'm not good at math. I take small numbers. 7 into 3 equal to 21. I believe they are prime numbers. Only 21 can be equally split by 7 and 3. There may be 0 to 21 combinations, right? Same way, instead of taking this small number, if we take a big number, this big number can be split only using two small numbers, right? Number 1 and number 2. Finding this number 1, number 2 is a real challenge, right? So that's what is used in cryptography, most of the crypto algorithms, right? Symmetric, sender and the receiver will use the same key. Asymmetric, again, there will be a confusion when you study between symmetric and asymmetric. Asymmetric means sender and the receiver will use a different key, that is fine. But why really is it asymmetric? For example, 100 people are here sitting in this class. I am going to keep an exam for you. I want you to write the answers and lock it and send it to me. I will unlock and see. So I'll say like everyone will generate a key. All 100 people or 200 people available here, we will generate a key for ourselves. Each and every one of you have to generate 2 keys. One public key, one private key. Let us say all of us are going to generate that. Let's say Ashok is going to generate a public key and a private key. As the name goes, public means I keep it open. I gave a public key as 1000. Some numbers I'm giving for understanding. Private key as, okay. So everyone will generate public and private key. All of you will have. You will put the public key in a common place. Let's say public key of Ashok is 1000. Public key of Lakshmi is 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Again, 1000, 2000. Same way the public key of everyone is available. Fine. So in a box, there are 100 public keys available, right? And I have my own public key. She will have her own public key. Sorry, she will have her own private key. This is the thing. So asymmetric means there will be each person or each individual will have a public key and private key. As the name goes, private key they won't give outside. The public key they give it outside, right? Say they just send the key to outside, fine. So public key will be available in a common place. For example, I want to send a message to Lakshmi. I will take the public key of Lakshmi, fine. That is 2, 3, 4, 5, and send the message. What will be the message? Plus, hey, meet me at 6. Fine. It will goes on the internet to the receiver, right? The receiver is receiving the message. There will be a private key of Lakshmi. Lakshmi only knows that. Again, I'm using this name regularly. It's my wife's name, so I believe that I can use it, right? I'm not targeting any other names. So she have the same combination. Let us type it here. Fine. She has her public key as 2, 3, 4, 5. She has her private key as 0987. So I'm locking with her public key. Fine. Okay. I'm locking with her public key. I know that that's available. I put a message. She has her only private key 0987. With that, she'll be able to unlock the message. But on the internet, when this meet me at 6 message goes, it's an encrypted channel. So how the data will be there in the internet? It will be Greek and Latin, something like this. The same message is locked, converted into another format. Receiver have the corresponding public or private key, can unlock and get the same message. If they are able to give the correct key, they'll be able to get the same message. This is the mechanism, math or logic behind public and private keys, right? So I'll do one thing. Just a minute. Let me open. There is something called Rinchedale algorithm. Those who are new to cryptography, I'll just Rinchedale algorithm animation. That's a age old, maybe years, 10, 15 years ago. But this animation will just clearly explain how this lock and unlock happens. This level of whatever I'm going to explain now, this level of basic understanding is more than enough for a student who's attending an interview for anything related to cryptography, right? Let me start this. Let me play this. Meanwhile, it's playing, I'll explain. Play. 15 steps, AES Advanced Encryption Standard, 128-bit algorithm. Let us see how the algorithm works. There's a cipher key. There's a cipher text. The above is the plain text. Meet me at 6 is the actual message coming from above. Let us see what is AES. It will have a state and a cipher. Fine. At this stage, state and a cipher. State is your message. MEET, right? The message will be converted as state. Cipher key is the key, right? For something to work, you have an input, you have a key plus algorithm, and output will be there. Input is the plain text, output is the encrypted text, right? So there are two types of process, encryption process and key generation process. We'll see the encryption process, right? It's typically like permutations and combination, changing the order, changing the sequence. That's how it works. But it's going to be complex. How many rounds? 10 rounds. Each round will have 4 types. Substitution bytes, shift row, mixed column, add round. See, round number 3, 4, 5. But the 10th round will be unique. It won't have a mixed column to add some randomness. 10th round will have 3 shifts. So this is happening in each and every round. After this happens in each and every round for your input, the output will come, right? Just like chewing it in one level and putting on to the next level. And okay, you see here, this one, right side, a small table like a chessboard, interesting. 0 to F, 0 to F, hexadecimal. This is something called as an S box. You remember like when the intro was given, they said like I was working for some research for some defense agencies and all. Defense agencies, government agencies used to develop their own crypto algorithms. For that, where I was there at the university, we used to develop something like this. This is called S box, right? So creating a box, something like this, a random numbers, testing it completely random. We can sell it for 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 60 lakhs or even greater, fine? See, the first value is 6 and 7. 6 is corresponding to some value. Next is 4 and 5. 4 is corresponding, 5 is corresponding to 60. 4, 5 is replaced with 60. Same way you see here, everything is replaced. First level of substitution is done, right? So this is the seed, we call it as a seed value. This key has to be kept secure, this S box has to be kept secure. And the background behind this will be the random numbers and the prime number sequence, how it works. Okay, the first state we have got. Second level, what is the name of the level? Shift row, we are rotating it by 1 byte. First is rotated once, second is rotated twice, third will be rotated thrice. 1, 2, and 3. The previous input, it was random. We even randomize this. The third row is mixed column. You have the previous input, you take something from the state, you do a matrix multiplication. You get the output. Do it for every row and column. Fine. This is done only for the rows. Do it for all 4 rows. We go on to the next level. Finally, the key we generated, right? The first key, the key will be added on to this. This is the output of 1 round. For the first bit of data, WE or MEET, MEET, that is done on this round. Round 1, round 2, round 3, it goes to the 10 rounds. AES uses, this bit uses in 10 rounds, right? You remember 10th round won't have the mixed column. The output is there, fine? This is the process of AES encryption, right? How AES works, 10 rounds of AES. For each and every round, you need to give a key. So what I do, I have a single key, fine? I'm having a single key. You can see here. You remember I took my key as 007. I have my single key. From that key, I'm going to generate 10 round of keys. We call it as a parent key and children key, right? From a single parent key, which I have in my hand, EC, take it, rot word, there's a orcon, there's a table to be multiplied. When that is done, the first child keys, first row will be calculated. You got it? Then the first row will be multiplied with the second row of the previous. The second row will be multiplied with the third row of the previous. The third new row will be multiplied with the fourth row of the previous. So from the first key, we have derived a second key. From the second key, you derive third key, fourth key, but first key will be the master key, right? So from this, we want 10 keys, we can derive 10 keys. We want 64 keys, we can derive 64 keys, no problem. But the first key will be the same thing. So the X box and the first key are to be kept secure, right? And you see here, the key is derived for the third, for the fourth, and it goes on consecutively, fine? Okay, this is how it works. Round 1, round 2, round 3, I hope we had 10 rounds. So 10 round of keys will be generated. Each round, that round key will be taken from the key scheduling algorithm and it will be given on to the key, fine? So this is an interesting website, crypto tools, right? If you want, I can, but this is not available in the class notes. I'll put it in the chat box, fine? I'm putting in the chat box for everyone so that you will come to know. Can you use it? Okay. Let's get back to the slides. So we are saying about security means locking. Locking means authentication. Authentication means password. Password means any type of factors which we use. So the common authentication passwords, we have seen Google Authenticator, open authentication algorithms. And cryptography is the art of hiding data, art of locking and unlocking data. Steganography is hiding and unhiding, you hide and unhide. Cryptography is lock and unlock, fine? So symmetric algorithm, AES, DES, asymmetric algorithm, RSA, reverse Shamir-Adleman, 3 professors, right, their results. ECC, elliptic curve cryptography, fine? So this is one type of crypto, to lock and unlock, right? There is another crypto here. I'll just quickly walk you through, we're not going to go in depth. There is something called hashing. I said we are doing cybercrime investigation, right? If I'm going to the court and saying that, hey, this is the photo that was in the pen drive, the judge will ask me, hey, the photo name is girl.jpg, right? Girl.jpg. This photo was available in Oppo Reno 7 mobile, right? Okay, fine, well and good. The judge will ask me for a hash value. Hey, give me the hash of the photo. Hash is yet another cryptography algorithm. Hash MD5 is one hash algorithm. SHA is one hash algorithm. SHA-1, 2, right? There are many other hash algorithms available. SHA-1, sorry. SHA-1, SHA-2. SHA-2. What this algorithm does, we'll see a real world example here. MD5 online. It will just take your data, digest and give the output. But the data is going to be this. Okay, you see, I'm generating the hash of the keyword, ignoring the adds apart, fine. I'm generating the hash for Ashok, ASHOK. Generate MD5. See, this MD5 is unique for the keyword Ashok, fine. For example, ASHOK, the MD5 hash equal to this. Wherever on the globe anyone is generating ASHOK, small will have the same MD5 algorithm, hash, right? If you want to see this, let us decode this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. In math, in computers, everything is 2 power 0. 8, 16, 24, 32. It's a 32-bit algorithm, right? If you what do you mean as 32-bit? 32 into some value, some x value, you get 128. Sorry, it's a 128-bit algorithm, right? 32 characters, right? 32 characters multiplied to something, you will get a 128-bit, right? So there are 32 characters. For example, the first bit B will be belong to 001, 00010. For identification, I'm saying 8 bit is equal to 1 byte. We remember we discussed on that. Fine. So 128-bit is called MD5 hash algorithm. Fine. Because yeah. So instead of small a, I give capital A. I generate the hash. Fine. I generate the hash. Let me copy the hash and we'll check out on the notepad. Fine. Fine. I hope this was the hash, right? Yeah. So if I'm checking the hash of this capital A SHO, A small SHOK, you see completely changed. This is the hash of the first word. Same, I change one bit, completely changed. What is the conclusion? Hash or hashing is a crypto algorithm used to verify, if you talk it in terms of principles CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability, it is for integrity. It is going to say whether the message is same or not. I am sending meet me at 6. You are receiving meet me at 9. So 6 is changed to 9 by the attacker in between. So if you take the hash of this, it won't match. So obviously you can verify not only for a text file, you can change the hash of CYS DFIR 1201 question paper dot document. You are sending a question paper to your exam office. You can take a hash of this and send it to them. But provided the hash, you send it to the team in a different routine. A clever attacker will modify the bail and modify the hash also, or put the new hash also. Fine. I remember colleges, many colleges where we audit, we recommend them to send the question paper to the exam office. They need to take the hash and send it to the exam office in some other routine, not an email, WhatsApp or something. Before printing the question paper, the exam office will verify the hash of the question paper. It can be a document, it can be a PDF, anything. If the hash is not matching, obviously they believe something is changed, added, and modified, or something has been done. Okay? So that is on this hash algorithms, one type of crypto algorithm. When you talk about cryptography, symmetric algorithms, asymmetric algorithms, hash algorithms, broad categories of cryptographic algorithms. Remember, we saw that in crypto tools, sender receiver will have the same key, that is called symmetric. Receiver sender will have a different key, public and private key, that is called asymmetric algorithm. Fine. Okay. So we'll come on to the last topic, steganography. Fine. Okay. Steganography is the art of, let me open it. Crypto is the art of lock and unlock. You play with numbers for locking and unlocking. Fine. Stego, or else we call it as stegano. Fine. Is the art of hiding and unhiding. Right. Simple. You see, like older days, you remember you can hide something inside a photo and send it, right? For example, I'll show you some demo. Live Stego demo online. Stego online, decode image, crypto Stego demo, open Stego. Open Stego is most commonly used. Okay, I'll take an example. I'm uploading an image. Fine. So let me say I'm uploading a pictures. Let me go to the picture. Let me upload a photo. I am with you. Open. I'm uploading this photo. Fine. I'm going to do some stego with this, right? So browse bit planes, you know, right? Those who do cryptography, or steganography or image processing, a bit will be split into bits plane, 8 planes, 0 to 7, right? So this is the actual image. Fine. Reset. You can select the bit planes, full red, full green, LSB half. You can select which algorithm you want to use. Let me upload it again. Embed file or data. So I uploaded an image. I'm going to embed a data. It's asking which bit I want to embed. See, now you can embed it with secret or without secrets. Let's say I want to embed it on RGB plane, R7, B4, R7, G4, B1. Fine. 741. Fine. So I'm going to hide it. What is the type I want to send? My ATM pin is 7854. I'm giving a random number. That's not my actual pin. Go. Loading 100%. It's going to do a steganography. It's going to hide something inside the photo which I was given. The output is ready. You see, visually you don't see any difference, right? I can download the device. You see here the same photo. I'm downloading it in the download photo, downloads folder, save. Fine. This Tego image, right click. Fine. So this is, I've just got an image. I've selected which bit, or else you can select the algorithm, LSB algorithm. You put a secret message. Let me copy the secret message. We'll verify it. Fine. I have a secret message and I've got it. Now I go back to the upload image. I am the sender. Now you are the receiver. Assume you are the receiver. You are uploading the image. Not on the pictures folder. Now I'm going to go to the downloads folder where I downloaded that image now. Fine. The same image. I'm opening it. The image is uploaded. I want to extract the data. You remember I have clearly given which bit I embedded. R7, G4, B1. Fine. Go. If this is the actual Stego image with the secret. If you know the bits, instead of bits, you can also have a secret key. If you know the bits are keys, you go. If the sender and the receiver side, the Stego normal image works correctly. The header of the photo image, you see here, are you able to find? I'm copying the bit. Fine. My ATM pin is 7854. You're able to see this? Fine. So this is typically an art in security called as steganography. You're going, I have hidden a secret message inside a photo. Traditional time, you go 10-15 years ago, steganography means you take a photo, inside the photo you hide a text. On the receiver side, you unhide the text from the same photo, typically the Stego photo. But nowadays, steganography is we can hide anything inside anything. You can hide a photo inside audio, you can hide audio inside video, you can hide a text inside photo, you can hide a video inside text, anything can be done. The advancement of Stego algorithms, I know many of the college faculties do PhD research on this steganography, right? So that is on steganography, yet another security technique, right? Where you are hiding and unhiding. Mostly it will use LSB, least significant bit. LSB is the most common Stego algorithm. Fine. Okay. Or we have seen about this authenticator, right? I'll explain you about this. We missed on to that. Google Authenticator working. Yes. Geauth. There is another app called Geauth. So we'll open Google Auth. You see, this is what really happens when you request via our Google Authenticator token. Fine. That's a web application. You request a token via Authenticator app. It displays the access. The user logs in, permissions, redirects to the website. Website will verify. It will give the access. It's yet another authentication. Instead of giving only password, when you type log into your Gmail from a different device, as I said, it will ask for, hey, go to your mobile and click on this number. Or else go, if you have installed an Authenticator app, it will ask, hey, give me the number from that or pin OTP from that Authenticator app. Fine. And different other types of authentications. We discussed about hardware token based authentication. You see here, it's like a small device, like pen drive like device, right? The device is a hardware which can generate random numbers. Instead of your mobile generating, the device will generate secret codes or one-time codes, right? Yeah. That's on this. I remember this authentication fine. When I was doing my bachelor's degree, we used a chip board way back in 2009. With that chip, with a SIM, we generated a random OTP. That was my BTech project in 2009. I remember in MTech, we created a time-based OTP, extended version of that, time-based and device-based. A OTP will be generated. First part of the OTP will come to your email. Second part of the OTP will come to your mobile. If I'm not wrong, nowadays many banks are using this, right? The first part will come to your mobile. Second part will come to your email. You need to get both and combine and enter it here, right? So once when you enter that, then only it will just allow you to log in. Nowadays, banks, secure mechanisms, they are using this as the authentication mechanism, right? Not only this hardware tokens, we can have a smart card. You know, right, nowadays all the ATM cards which we have will have a small chip, right? Then you can have using your mobile or any third-party hardware tokens. Right? So this is one form of authentication. You see, I remember some banks give OTP generators like this. Small remote-like device. Or small pen drive-like device. Fine. These are all different types of authentication mechanisms. Okay. So to summarize what you have seen in the whole of the concepts, let me go back. I'll once again let you know the definitions, what we have seen. Definition by definition. Fine. Vulnerability is the weakness in the system. The weakness can be on a hardware, software, or an application. Exploit is a malware or a virus, a piece of code, right, that is used to attack the vulnerability. Fine. Then we saw something on vulnerability is a weakness, threat agent is the attacker, they use the exploit. Because of this, the risk is there, right? Risk is the attack. The attack happens, you might lose something. Company has to either accept the risk, avoid the risk, transfer the risk, or mitigate the risk. Different types of malware, malicious software, virus, worms, ransomware, 0-day, we saw APT, we saw Pakistani APT 36, we saw what is social engineering, right? We saw Trojan horse, we saw an example of a ransomware. Ransomware uses encryption. Using encryption, it locks, you need to pay and get the single key, that is called ransom. Ransom money, you need to pay and get it back. Attack vector, vector is something have a magnitude, direction. How the attack is happening. Social engineering, malware, network-based, physical, password-based, different types of attacks. The attacker will not do a random attack. That's a vector, right? So the attacker will find what is the weakness, vulnerability in your system. The attacker will get the actual exploit and then they will do an attack. You might have seen in movies, right? To blast this building, you need this much kg of bomb. What they are doing, they have an attack vector. They are deciding the circumference, strength and everything. They are deciding how many kg bombs they need and then they do an attack, right? So same way, we are talking about exploits, right? Sir, where to get an exploit? I want to do a demo on exploit, right? But don't do it on any live websites or live institutions. They might be having a firewall to monitor. Exploit DB. We'll be seeing this in upcoming classes, but for matter of interest, I'm showing this now. Exploit DB. I'm going and type Windows 10. Windows 10. You see, yesterday they stopped the support. So Windows 10. You see how many exploits are available. Different exploits. When I check one exploit, remote code execution, this website will give me a virus. We click on to download. It will download some code. It can be a Perl or Python.NA file. When I download this file, this is an exploit available in Windows 10 computer on this web dev interface or application or protocol. And the attack name is remote code execution. You get it, send it to the victim. This is a piece of code, right? If it works, you'll be able to do an attack, right? The attacker is getting basic details about the victim, finding the vulnerabilities, finding correct exploit for the vulnerabilities, have a vector for that, then send an attack. When they send the virus, they send it over email, WhatsApp, SMS, pen drives, anything, right? Different mechanisms to send, but actually this is how it works. Fine, attack vectors, phishing, fish tag. So you have an asset, your company, college has 1,000 computer, you have a vulnerability, you are using older Windows XP, you have a threat. Your student will find a remote code and they get log into your faculty system. A hacker outside will log into your college system and steal the question paper and go. That's a risk, right? Then we have seen the global threat map. Different types of maps. Yesterday we saw the same we saw today. Cyber hygiene, how to prevent that? The first part we see what is attack. How to prevent attack is put a lock. Lock means security. Security means password. Password means cryptography, right? Most common. So we have seen password, how to set a password, different types of authentication, different types of passwords. Then Google Authenticator, OpenAuth. I have not discussed on OAuth. It will take more time. But OAuth is an algorithm that is the most common algorithm behind. You know, right? A plus B whole square formula. Same way, OAuth is the open authentication algorithm behind most of the authentications. Cryptography, the art of locking and unlocking. Symmetric, sender and receiver will use the same key. Asymmetric, sender and the receiver will use a different key. Hashing, typically for checking integrity. Hashes are used to verify whether the message is modified or not. And keep in mind, even when I learned for the first time, I got confused, right? Hashes won't get me this Ashok and this Ashok. Hash will only give this, whether the message is modified or not. Hash will say whether the question paper is modified or not. From the hash, you cannot extract the question paper. It is not a RAR or a compression algorithm. I had a misconception when I was learning, right? Don't believe hashes won't get you the data back. Hashes is only a signature, just to verify whether it is modified or not. Fine. So you have seen some hashing algorithms. We have seen the website for AES Ridgedale algorithm. 10 rounds, 4 each. Key generation, S-box. We have seen how it is generated. Steganography is the art of hiding and unhiding. Hiding a text inside photo, traditional steganography. Hiding anything inside anything is current day steganography. You can use this Git code, most common stego code, if you want to do for some research. Source code should be available. You can download and try it. Fine. So day 1, network fundamentals. Day 2, cyber fundamentals. Today, day 3, we have seen attack, threat, vulnerability, authentication, crypto, and stego. Fine. I hope tomorrow we'll be covering these topics. WASP, different types of attacks. I gave you a rough view of WASP. Tomorrow we'll see the WASP top 10. Top 10 WASP attacks. Digital signature, digital securities, VPNs, cyber kill chain, maybe CVE, CVSS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we'll see till top security tools. Fine. So that's it from me for day 3. If you have any questions, queries, you can unmute and ask. I'm happy to answer. Let me check the chat box if there are any questions. Day 3 attendance, some links, day 3 attendance. How does OAuth works, right? Again, because I don't want to confuse people, those who are new, by explaining OAuth. OAuth will be in depth, fine. Right, I'll show you the OAuth 2.0. Open authentication will be a bit complex, right? Again, we can also explain that easily, right? So you see, it will be a bit complex, something like this. But let's check on to this. Let's check this simple image, which will explain OAuth in a nutshell. OAuth 2.0, how it works. Authorization code, browser, server, there's an ID, right? Get my data, authentication is there with IDP, some unique ID. Hey, I have been redirected to your authentication mechanism. Give me this. Yes, you are authenticated. Yeah, I have done the authentication. Is the authentication valid? It will be verified. See, from the left side browser till the end user, the server. Browser will speak to server sometimes. Browser will speak to the end entity sometimes. Server will speak to the end entity, right? Once when everything is done in the right way, correct sequence, the authentication is done, right? So that's what is given for OAuth, open authentication. Fine. So okay, the session, I hope there's a question on materials. I hope day 1 and day 2 material I have already shared with the team. Today's material, this class notes also, maybe immediately after the session I will share it. As it was earlier informed, you can check it in the LMS, the Learning Management Systems dashboard. That should be available. So any other questions? Fine. So that's it from me. I hope I have answered a couple of technical questions. Is it told as open authentication? Not authorization, it's open authentication, right? So they have given it as authorization here. You're authorizing, right? We saw the triple principles. Just like we saw the ovals, right? They are overlapping, right? When you authenticate someone, you authorize. It's a part of that, right? But OAuth means open. I'll just clear your doubt. Let's check. Yeah, yes. Fine. It's an authorization standard. Yeah, clearly. It's overlapping. We authorize who is the user logging in at what time, right? But authorization used to happens with bits and pieces of usernames and passwords, right? So as per the dictionary definition, OAuth is what open standard for authorization, authorizing, allowing the right user to log in, and it involves a third-party applications, an API or things, but involves a password. Something has to be authenticated, right? So authentication, authorization, accounting are overlapping features, but this OAuth is all about authorization, as that was rightly asked in the chat. OAuth here, as it's given in the diagram, it's all about open authorization. But I remember, like, I was teaching it over number of years. When we start teaching, we get habituated talking about open authentication and all. Yeah. So any other questions? Yeah, this. Yeah, I hope I have answered all the questions in the chat box, technical questions. Fine. Okay, so that's it from me for today's session. I hope we are at the end of the session. The time is we may have a couple, 2 or 3 minutes. If you have any other questions, queries, you can unmute and ask or put in the chat box. Or else I leave it up to the organizers for giving any concluding notes. Someone is trying to speak. Yeah, Dr. Mohammed.
Yes, sir. I have one question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, while using the AWS instances, how we would, how it, how it is possible that to get the something fishy mail from the attackers and some kind of ransomwares and all. Is it possible that while creating the instance on AWS, we can get such kind of mails and
Okay,
all?
sir. So if I'm not wrong, your question is how to identify an attack using AWS,
No,
right?
I'm asking, for example, for my system, somebody has sent the ransomware. Might be file has been not corrupted, but they need demand for money to unlock the file and folders, right?
Okay.
But how they will attack on AWS? Instances. It's possible they can attack there also.
Yes, sir. So see each system. It's not like, for example, 10 years before every company will say, "Hey, I am secure," right? Nowadays, no network is secure. But AWS, for your exact question, right? AWS, Amazon Web Services, they have a specific application for ransomware protection,
Sir,
right?
actually, if I will create an instances, if I have created instances on Linux, then what is the possibility of getting some kind of attacks?
Okay,
It's
so if,
possible.
if we are so precise to a ransomware attack on a Linux system, let us say Linux is running on SSH. They have an SSH. SSH is actually older version, not 1.3. They run on V1 or V2. The attacker finds the user is running on a AWS instance. He's having a Linux OS, maybe the Linux kernel version he might know. then he's finding you're using the older version of SSH, right?
Yeah.
So he'll get an exploit, send it to you. If everything works in the right order, the vulnerability, when you click onto that link, you might be vulnerable to that attack. But clearly knowing big players like AWS, they have a bare minimal inbuilt protection. Even if you being the AWS user, you cannot disable that protection. But attacks are possible. No network is 100% secure. Attacks are possible. But you see, AWS clouds have their agents for ransomware mitigation. It's a part of the service. Whatever you paid, they give it as a protection inbuilt.
Actually, sir, we visually heard about that in the Linux you cannot get some kind of viruses and all. I mean, nobody can. If somebody can enter your system also, then he or she cannot harm you.
Yes, sir. There are two things. I'll give you a couple of answers. One thing is Linux is secure. I accept. That's fine. For example, 100 people are here. How many of us are using Linux? Maybe like 90 people will use, 2 or 3 will use Linux, right? Linux is less used, right? So that I'm an attacker, I want to attack on 100 of you. I can find an exploit for 90% Windows users. Don't want to go and find an attack for 9 Linux user or 1 Apple device user, right? Even Linux has vulnerable. Linux will have a ransomware. Apple devices has some vulnerabilities, right? The scenario is that attacker can attack Windows system at low cost because it's most commonly used. Vulnerabilities are open. Linux are pretty mixed cores. You see Apple devices, you know, right? Anyone using Apple devices, iPhones and on, that is bit of secure because some of their code are closed to source. The code is not publicly available, so that the attacker cannot find a real vulnerability on them.
Right.
But every device, every operating system is equally vulnerable. If you ask me, I say every system, every hardware or software is equally vulnerable.
Vulnerability is there everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, let me check the chat box. Any other questions, queries? I hope the team have put the attendance link. Fine. So that's it from me. If you don't have any questions, queries, thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll meet again by tomorrow. Thank you so much for your informative session. Yeah, so dear faculty members, attendance link has been shared. It is just a reminder. I request please mark your attendance without any fee. 60% of attendance is mandatory. And some are asking for previous day attendance link, that is day 1, day 2 attendance link. Sorry, the previous day attendance link can't be shared. The attendance link will be active only till 5:30. It is for 1 hour, 4:30 to 5:30. So the previous day's attendance link can't be shared. I request if you have not marked your attendance like the previous 2 days, from today continuously mark your attendance without any fee. Okay, we'll wind up for the day. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. We'll meet again by tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Ma'am, please share the attendance link.
Sure, I'm sharing once again.
Actually, I can't show in the chat box.
I have just shared it, sir.
Sure.
Can you
Sure,
please
ma'am.
check?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a problem in LMS access. If you have any issues on LMS, I request please drop a mail to edl@xlr.com. Send a screenshot what the problem you are facing. We will rectify it. Okay, thank you, everyone.